In 1588, England, a relatively minor island nation, stood defiant against the colossal might of Spain, the dominant superpower of the age. We often remember this clash as a David versus Goliath story, a plucky underdog miraculously defeating a seemingly invincible foe. But what if I told you that the invincible Armada was never truly invincible to begin with? The seeds of its failure were sown long before a single cannon was fired in the English Channel. For decades, tensions had simmered between England and Spain. Queen Elizabeth I, a Protestant monarch, openly supported Dutch rebels fighting for independence from Catholic Spain. A thorn in the side of King Philip II, English privateers, essentially state-sponsored pirates, like Sir Francis Drake, raided Spanish ships laden with gold and silver from the New World. Further enraging Philip, he believed that removing Elizabeth and restoring Catholicism to England was not only his divine right, but a strategic necessity to secure his empire. Philip's grand plan, the enterprise of England, hinged on the Spanish Armada, a massive fleet of 130 ships carrying over 20,000 soldiers and sailors. The Armada's objective was to sail to the Netherlands, pick up thousands more seasoned troops under the command of the Duke of Parma, and then invade England. The Armada's size was meant to intimidate, its strength to crush any resistance. However, beneath the surface, flaws were already emerging. The Armada was hastily assembled, some ships were poorly constructed, and vital supplies were lacking. The leadership was also problematic. The Duke of Medina Sidonia, a nobleman with little naval experience, replaced the experienced Admiral Santa Cruz, who died unexpectedly. On May 28, 1588, the Armada finally set sail from Lisbon, Portugal. Bad weather forced it to take shelter in Corunna for repairs before finally heading towards the English Channel in July. The English fleet, smaller but faster and more maneuverable, was commanded by Lord Howard of Effingham and included experienced captains like Sir Francis Drake and Sir John Hawkins. The English tactics were innovative, favoring long-range cannon fire rather than grappling and boarding, a traditional Spanish tactic. The first encounter occurred on July 31 off Plymouth. The English ships harassed the Armada, picking off stragglers and disrupting its formation. The Spanish, hampered by their size and cumbersome tactics, struggled to respond effectively. Over the next week, a series of running battles ensued up the English Channel. The English employed fireships, old vessels deliberately set ablaze and sent drifting into the Armada's ranks, causing panic and further scattering the Spanish fleet. The crucial turning point came at the Battle of Gravelines on August 8. The English, with their superior gunnery, inflicted heavy damage on the Spanish ships. The Armada, unable to link up with the Duke of Parma's army in the Netherlands due to the presence of Dutch blockading ships, was now running low on ammunition and supplies. Medina Sidonia made the fateful decision to abandon the invasion and sail home. But the journey home proved to be even more devastating than the battles in the Channel. The Spanish opted to sail north around Scotland and Ireland, hoping to avoid the English fleet. This route, however, was fraught with peril. The Armada encountered violent storms, forcing ships onto the rocky coastlines of Ireland. Thousands of Spanish sailors and soldiers perished, shipwrecked and often met with hostility by the local Irish population, who resented English rule. By the time the remnants of the Armada limped back to Spain, over half of the original fleet had been lost, along with thousands of lives. The defeat was a crushing blow to Spanish prestige and power. While Spain remained a formidable force, its aura of invincibility was shattered. England, on the other hand, emerged as a rising naval power, paving the way for its future colonial expansion and global dominance. The failure of the Spanish Armada wasn't just about a few lucky breaks for England. It was a culmination of strategic miscalculations, logistical failures, inferior tactics, and devastating weather. It serves as a reminder that even the most formidable empires can be undone by hubris, inflexibility, and a failure to adapt to changing circumstances. The Armada's story continues to resonate today, highlighting the importance of careful planning, adaptable strategies, and the unpredictable nature of history itself. Just as Spain learned in 1588, even the mightiest can fall.